and Mary trembled more than she had done yet. Now the lots were all drawn, and one man, apparently a young pirate, stepped out from among his fellows. His head was bowed, and his arms were folded across his manly chest. The captain spoke a few words, and the young pirate advanced along to the side of the deep hole. Mary now shut her eyes tight, tight, but Abner's were wide open. There was a sudden gleam of a cutlass in the air. There was one short, plaintive groan, and the body of the young pirate fell into the hole. Instantly all the other goods, furs, rugs, or whatever they were tumbled in upon him. Then the men began to shovel in the earth and sand, and in an incredibly short time the hole was filled up even with the ground about it. Of course all the earth and sand which had been taken out of the hole could not now be put back into it, but these experienced treasure hiders knew exactly what to do with it. A spadeful at a time, the soil which could not be replaced was carried to the sea and thrown out into the water, and when the whole place had been carefully smoothed over, the pirates gathered sticks and stones and little brushes, and great masses of wild cranberry vines, and scattered them about over the place so that it soon looked exactly like the rest of the beach about it. Then the tall captain gave another low command. The pirates returned to their boat. It was pushed off and rapidly rowed back to the schooner. Up came the anchor, up went the dark sails. The low black schooner was put about, and very soon she was disappearing over the darkening waters, her black flag fluttering fiercely high above her. "Now let us run," whispered poor Mary, who, although she had not seen everything, imagined a great deal. For as the pirates were getting into their boat, she had opened her eyes, and had counted them, and there were only 9 beside the tall captain. Abner thought that her advice was very good, and starting up out of the brushwood, they hastened home as fast as their legs would carry them. The next day Abner seemed to be a changed man. He had work to do, but he neglected it. Never had such a thing happened before. For hours he sat in front of the house, looking up into the sky, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then he would twist himself around on the little bench and count 7 more. This worthy couple lived in a small house, which had a large cellar, and during the afternoon of that day Abner busied himself in clearing out this cellar and taking out of it everything which it had contained. His wife asked no questions. In her soul she knew what Abner was thinking about. Supper was over, and most of the people in the village were thinking of going to bed, when Abner said to Mary, "Let us each take a spade, and I will carry a pail, and we will go out upon the beach for a walk. If anyone should see us, they would think that we were going to dig for clams." "Oh, no, dear Abner," cried Mary. "We must not dig there. Think of that young pirate. Almost the first thing we would come to would be him." "I have thought of that," said Abner. "But do you not believe that the most Christian act that you and I could do would be to take him out and place him in a proper grave near by?" "Oh, no," exclaimed Mary. "Do not say such a thing as that. Think of his ghost. They killed him and put him there, that his ghost might guard their treasure. You know, Abner, as well as I do, that this is their dreadful fashion." "I know all about that," said Abner, "and that is the reason I wish to go tonight. I do not believe there has yet been time enough for his ghost to form. But let us take him out now, dear Mary, and lay him reverently away, and then—" He looked at her with flashing eyes. "But, Abner," said she, Do you think we have the right?" "Of course we have," said he. "Those treasures do not belong to the pirates. If we take them, they are treasure trove, and legally ours. And think, dear Mary, how poor we are tonight, and how rich we may be tomorrow. Come, get the pail. We must be off." Running nearly all the way, for they were in such a hurry they could not walk, Abner and Mary soon reached the bluff, and hastily scrambling down to the beach below, they stood upon the dreadful spot where Captain Kidd and his pirates had stood the night before. There was the old battered pine tree reaching out two of its bare arms encouragingly toward them. Without loss of time, Abner walked up to the tree, put his back to it, and then looked up into the sky. Now he called Mary to him. "Which star do you think he looked at, good wife?" said he. "There is a bright one low down, and then there is another one a little higher up, and farther to the right, but it is fainter." "It would be the bright one, I think," said Mary, and then Abner, his eyes fixed upon the bright star, commenced to stride. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turning squarely around to the left, he again made 7 paces. And now he beckoned vigorously to Mary to come and dig. For about 10 minutes they dug, and then they laid bare a great mass of rock. "This isn't the place," cried Abner. "I must begin again. I did not look at the right star. I will take the other one." For the greater part of that night, Abner and Mary remained upon the beach. Abner would put his back against the tree, fix his eyes upon another star, stride forward 7 paces, and then 7 to the left, and he would come upon a little scrubby pine tree. Of course that was not the place. The moon soon began to set, and more stars came out, so that Abner had a greater choice. Again and again he made his measurements, and every time that he came to the end of his second 7 paces, he found that it would have been impossible for the pirates to make their excavation there. There was clearly something wrong. Abner thought that he had not selected the right star, and Mary thought that his legs were not long enough. "That pirate captain," quoth she, "had a long and manly stride. 7 of his paces would go a far greater distance than 7 of yours, Abner." Abner made his paces a little longer, but although he and his wife kept up their work until they could see the early dawn, they found no spot where it would be worth while to dig, and so mournfully they returned to their home and their empty cellar. As long as the moonlight lasted, Abner and Mary went to the little beach at the head of the bay and made their measurements and their searches, but although they sometimes dug a little here and there, they always found that they had not struck the place where the pirates' treasure had been buried. When at last they gave up their search and concluded to put their household goods back into their cellar, they told the tale to some of the neighbors, and other people went out and dug, not only at the place which had been designated, but miles up and down the coast, and then the story was told and retold, and so it has lasted until the present day. What has been said about the legendary Captain Kidd will give a very good idea of the estimation in which this romantic being has been, and still is, held in various parts of the country, and of all the legitimate legends about him, there is not one which recounts his piratical deeds upon our coast. The reason for this will be seen when we consider the next chapter, the life and character of the real